Push the button. Greetings. I'm Evan Swenson. I'm an author and a book publisher. I'm also a member of Author Masterminds, sponsors of Readers and Writers Book Club. Welcome to Readers and Writers Book Club. This is the worldwide online general membership meeting of Readers and Writers Book Club, rapidly becoming the book club destination for all readers of good books. Thanks for being here. Today's membership is represented online by Author Mastermind members and other book club members participating on Facebook Live. I hope you'll find every reader is a friend and every author is approachable. Once again, welcome to Readers and Writers Book Club. Of course, we'll be conversing about books, authors, writing, and the magic and miracle of reading. We'll also discuss the fun of reading competition when we talk about Readers and Writers Book Club's Battle of the Books. And we'll have some fun as we award Readers and Writers Book Club branded door prizes available to all book club members. Okay, let's meet today's co-hosts. Okay, let's just do that. We're going to have some fun today. We've kind of had a little rehearsal before the general meeting started, just to kind of get touch base. But before we get into the fun things, let's just talk about the co-hosts that are here with us today. We have Marianne Paul, Valerie, Winans, Steve, Levi, and James. And we're going to say the last name because none of us can say that except James when you meet him. So let's meet the co-hosts today. And let's start with Marianne Paul. Marianne, if you would introduce yourself, just tell us a little bit about Marianne Paul and your books and who and what you are. And then we'll slip over to Valerie, and then Steve, and then come again to James.
I'm Marianne Paul. I'm America's Lady of Supernatural Thrillers. I am a charter member of Author Masterminds, and I do host a podcast called Untitled Chapter. I write supernatural thrillers, if you didn't get that from the title. I literally scare Steve to death, so there you go. Valerie, on the other hand, is courageous. So she says she likes my books. Now, I don't care. I don't know. Anyway, so I have written 4 books in a series. Raven's Cove is the first, Ingress, Gorgon, and Doulahan. They're all iconoclast thrillers. So there you have it. It's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Marianne. Valerie?
Hi, I'm Valerie Winans. And I'm a dog lover, but I'm also a writer for readers of all ages. I have written 3 books, and my newest book was just released in September, first part of September. And it's called A Hero's Journey, Life Lessons from a Dog and His Friends. And so I'm busy out there talking to folks about that book, and I'm very happy to be here this evening. I'm also a member of Author Masterminds, where every reader is a friend and every writer is approachable.
Okay, thank you for Valerie. Thanks for the little commercial about Author Masterminds too. You got that down pat, great.
He's good at that, yeah.
Steve, can you top that?
Yeah, I'm Steve Levi, and I'm the master of the impossible crime. My basic attitude as my motto as a writer is that if it's not unique, you have nothing. So I want to make my books as different as possible. And as far as I know, I'm the only one in America that is writing an impossible crime. An impossible crime is where the detective has to spend most of his time trying to figure out how the crime was committed before he can go after the perpetrators. If, as an example, in The Vanishing Matter of the Vanishing Greyhound, you have a Greyhound bus being followed by the San Francisco police. It's got 4 bank robbers, 12 hostages, and $12 million in the Greyhound bus. It drives out onto the Golden Gate Bridge and vanishes. And so now the detective has to figure out how you can make a Greyhound bus disappear off the Golden Gate Bridge before he can go chasing the perpetrators. And I too am a member of Author Masterminds.
Okay. And James is, it's midnight right now where James lives. James is in South Africa. James is, well, James, you introduce yourself and you tell us your last name.
So I'm James Yamgela Qeqe, the new voice of Africa. I'm also a charter member of the Author Masterminds. I'm a historian and a researcher. I do a lot of work in history, African history mostly. So like Steve Levi, I am a historian. He forgot to mention that. He is a historian.
Okay, now, James, you said your name so quick, no one heard that.
Qeqe.
There you go.
Qeqe. Qeqe. Qeqe.
Qeqe. And so now our co-hosts have heard that. Steve
Right.
and Marianne and Valerie. I'm sure that they could repeat that.
Oh,
That one I can repeat, yes.
You want to try, Valerie?
We love you, James, but we just can't do it.
I understand that.
I'm going with Qeqe, or wait a minute. Qeqe, that's what I'm going with.
That's works for me. Does that work for you, James?
It does, Steve.
I think this is a case where call me anything, but just don't call me late for dinner.
There you go.
So the people in South Africa, are they really people you associate with, and that do they really able to pronounce your last name? And there's no pronunciation; it's just a sound.
A sound. Well, not everybody even can pronounce it. I mean, we have different dialects. Some tribes cannot pronounce it. Most of the tribes, they will call me Qeqe, which is something different from Qeqe. So not everybody. Not every African can pronounce my surname.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. Well, anyway, welcome, you co-hosts. Feel free to just jump in anytime. But we want to, today we're going to be having some fun with some prizes. And also just, we had a meeting with some of the author masterminds earlier today, and we had this little video, and I kind of want to show this little video to just kind of get some things started today, kind of different. Let's just look at this.
I own him. 你别笑。
Is that fun?
Yes, that's so cute.
So it has nothing to do with books or book club, except that I trust, having not rehearsed anything or brought it up, I trust that Steve Levi will be able to take that video and say something about one of your books or his books or reading or something and make that an object lesson. Steve, let's test you out.
This is easy because what she sees is not the reality. All she saw was what she thought was happening. You know, and that's just like my detective. He's got to figure out what actually is happening, not what you're being told to think is happening. You know, it's kind of like politics. What is really going on in politics is not what is being advertised on television. Right. Take it away, Mary.
Maybe that could be what is happening in the Impossible Crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that. I'm
sorry. As
sorry.
the lady is concerned, I suspect that was impossible.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's fun.
You know, we don't have one comment over here. Where are all the people? Just saying.
Well, they may be watching a football game. I was watching a football game the other day, and there was nobody in the stands. Like nobody. And I was going, this is very strange. I don't watch football that often, but I'm saying, you know, usually they have pictures of people in the stands, and there wasn't anybody there. And I was saying, but the guys on the field are there. So, you know.
I know. It's so weird, this climate we're in with COVID and all.
Is it
Yeah,
true?
James, what's going
that
on in
you can-
Africa? Are you still you have COVID-19 in Africa?
Yeah, we do. It's global.
Yes, I know, but are you wearing a mask and social distancing just like we are?
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, we do that. We just opened our economy now. I think about last week. Yeah, a few days ago. So we try to. We are in lockdown. We're still in lockdown level 1.
Mhm.
Level 1 does allow us to go to shopping centers, to marketplaces, but still we're going to observe social distancing, wear a mask, sanitize, and wash your hands regularly, and all that. Yeah, we do that. We do that. But it's not. I would say it's not normal. We try to adapt with the new normal, as it were.
Well, Marianne, everyone, all the members of the Readers and Writers Facebook, our Readers and Writers Book Club, received an email. In fact, I suspect that all of you received yours about an hour ago, a reminder that included this with the address of where people could come. Now, maybe we need to do it like the football game, Steve. I understand that you can take a picture and have a cardboard cutout of yourself, and then you send it to the team along with a fee, and they will put your picture in the stands in an appropriate seat, depending upon the fee that you paid. You might even get a box seat if you pay enough, and so that you have your presence there. So maybe we need to do that. What do you think? Is that a way to do it?
I think it's a terrible waste of money. I mean, why am I paying to go to a football game I don't go to?
Well,
Exactly.
part of that email, the bottom part of it is talks about the drawing that we'll have. Jen Rodriguez, the publisher's assistant, handles all of that for us in the background. And so if you received your email, you will, as a member of the club, why then you can just go push that button on there. It says, join now, and just push it, and you'll be eligible for the prizes, which will include a couple of T-shirts that we've got here, and then also some coupons for free books. So be sure when you get your email, just push that button, and you'll be eligible for the prize. Okay. Anything else that we'd need to discuss today to get things started with as far as the book club is concerned? We want to remind people, of course, that we have this monthly meeting. This is the second monthly meeting we had this month because we had last month's meeting on August 32nd.
Yes, we
Yes,
did.
right.
Sorry.
So this month, of course, is a little longer, and we have it this week. But we're pleased that each of you are there. James, in South Africa, are there book clubs there where people go to a place and socialize and talk about books and other things? Are there book clubs in South Africa?
Yes, even we do have a number of book clubs. I was invited to be part of one book club in high school, which was opened by, or rather created by, a couple of teachers. So they asked me to be part of it. That's why earlier on I asked Steve, how does his book signing look like? And he explained it is similar to what we have in South Africa. Like you would go to museums, go to marketplaces, malls, and all that, where you would have people having some kind of exhibitions, arts exhibitions, and book signing and all that. So yeah, we do have those kind book clubs. So we are busy with this one now, with learners and teachers, trying to get more people from schools to love books, to read a lot, to write and give reviews and all that. So yes, we do.
Yeah, well, thank you. Valerie, I ask a favor of you. I'm looking along with Marianne at the live over on Facebook group, and I don't see any lot of people there. Would you, if you have the email, Valerie, that what we had on the screen, to where you could push that button on to go to the Facebook and see if that works correctly. Maybe we didn't get the right message out, because I'm surprised that people aren't there.
Me too.
It is a surprise.
There's usually somebody there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Well, we're here. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
that is
Just in case anybody is listening, I think the most important thing that you have to understand and realize about Author Masterminds is that you can go to the web, you can go to Author Masterminds, and you can wander through any book you want and take a read of any book you want, which is completely different than a bookstore. Because when I used to go into a bookstore, I would go to a certain section and I'd be able to look at some books and flip over the back, and then I'd have to buy one and walk out the door. And a lot of times I walked out the door with a book that I thought was going to be pretty good, and I got outside and I started reading it that night and it was terrible. But in Author Masterminds, what you can do is you can get into Author Masterminds and you can read sections, first chapters of a whole bunch of different books, and it doesn't cost you anything. And so what happens is, if you like one book and say, gee, I really like this one, now that I've read 2 chapters, you can, but at least your money is being spent, properly,
Right.
And then, because I can't tell you how many books that I've got sitting on my bookshelf that I thought were going to be good books until I got into them, and it's kind of like, yeah, okay. And I can't throw them out because I paid for them. And I can't really give them away because there's, who am I going to give them to? The library, and they're just going to dump them. But the nice thing about Author Masterminds is that you don't have to say, oh, I'm only looking for this kind of a book. I had never read horror books until I started reading Marianne, and now I'm almost sorry that I started. But you get a real spread of books. So what happens is, I don't care whether you're into horror or you're into horses or you're into impossible crimes or you're into religious tracts, it's there. It is there, and it doesn't cost you anything to read a sample. And that is a huge thing, especially in these times when everybody's got, times are tight from COVID-19.
Well, we got a question from Valerie.
Valerie!
Would you like me to answer that, or would you like to answer that? Ask that one, Val.
The link worked, Valerie. Good
Yes,
for
it
you.
does. Works.
It works.
Yeah.
So Val,
My question was to James. I can't pronounce your last name, James.
It's fine. It's fine.
Qeqe. Yeah.
What I would like to know, James, is how many books have you written, and are they individual, or is it a group of books that need to be read in an order?
Well, thanks for that. That's a very important question. I have written 3 books. I just released the 3rd one a week ago, which is entitled The Unconscious of Consciousness, Redeeming Ourselves. So the first book was The Unknown of the Known in Africa. The second one is The Brightness of Darkness of an African. The first 2 books, you have to read them chronologically. The 3rd book, you can, read it anytime without reading the first or the second. But the first 2, you have to, in order to understand the second, you have to read the first, which is The Unknown of the Known in Africa. It's a continuation of the first one.
And would you say that the books are specific to South Africa or to the continent of Africa?
The first book is specifically for actually in Southern Africa. I did a lot of research in Southern Africa, but there are chapters which go further and beyond the Southern Africa, which goes to the north of Africa and many parts of Africa. Then the second one is a research and a kind of a comparison between the US history and South African history. That is why it has two flags in the front cover, the flag of the United States of America and the flag of the Republic of South Africa. And there's a lot which needs to be understood in both histories and in both stories. So that's why I managed to put the two stories in one book. And those who have read it, they gave me a kind of a review about it. They liked it, and they never thought of the way I've managed to compare the two stories.
I love the cover.
Thank you so much. I feel like a king.
Yes. And can you tell us about what you have on? The significance
of this book?
Of what you have on the cover. It's so
yes. Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay, that's my cultural attire. I grew up in a royal family. My mother was one of the princesses of the royal family in one village. So I'm a nephew to the current chief. I'm not a prince, but I grew up in a royal family. So this symbolizes all men in my culture, the Xhosa culture. They would wear these robes, traditional robes, and then on the left shoulder they will put something longer than anything that they are wearing, a kind of a robe. Some would even put a traditional blanket, you may call it, which symbolizes royalty, which can also symbolize man of the house, man of the tribe. And then women, normally they would put that on their right shoulder. That's how you differentiate between the two. So it's a kind of a traditional attire to kind of express myself as a Xhosa man.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Well, I'd like to say I'm very, very pleased, James, you're with this group for a couple of reasons. Number one is, most people don't know this, but my father's a refugee from Italy, and he came to America as an adult, and because he was Jewish during the Second World War. And growing up, I was so shocked at how many Americans had absolutely no concept of the world. You know, they understood their neighborhood, they understood the state, sort of, but when it came to anything beyond, you know, what we call, you know, our neighborhoods, they had no link at all. And having you in here, what happens is that people go to Author Masterminds and they see that we've got someone from Africa, and it's saying, look, you know, we are all over the world. There are writers all over the world that are participating and offering quality work. You know, just because you live in Alaska doesn't mean that there's not a world out there. So I'm very, very pleased that you're here. And I also like the concept of your books also. It's because you are showing that in one way that you are in many, many ways just like us, and then also in many ways you are not. You know, and so what happens is that it adds flavor, you know, to both the group and the writing.
I'm humbled, Steve. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Well,
James, who was the two women in accompanying you on that? Was that family members or who? In the cover.
Yes, those are my two sisters. The one in black is comes immediately after me. I'm the firstborn. She comes after me, and then the other one is comes after the other one. So yeah, those are my two sisters, and so I thought I should invite them for that photo shoot so that I feel like a chief or a king at once, you know. Maybe Steve would be motivated to try something similar to that. So those are my two sisters. Yeah.
That is so interesting. And what came to my mind as we were listening to James was that this group, the Author Masterminds group, we really have developed a friendship. We really are friends, authors and friends, and supporting each other. So, you know, I never in my life thought I would read what Marianne Paul writes. I would.
Yeah, you got that one right.
I wouldn't have picked one up, but it was Marianne, and she seemed like such a nice person. So I picked one up. Lo and behold, I really enjoy them. So you got to be open. So
Sure.
James is next on my list.
Well, what reading does is it takes your mind, especially different readers, it takes your mind to places you never, ever would have gone on your own. You know, and the stories, you know, you start on some of the stories in Readers and Writers, and you're going, this is very good. We have Rich Ritter, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
the last time I read a Western probably was in high school or college, and then it was a Louis L'Amour, and all the Louis L'Amour books are pretty much the same, you know, and Rick Ritter's going like, oh, this is very, very different. And actually it's very, very good. You know, and because the last time I was interested in Westerns was John Wayne and the Alamo, and that's what, like 1960 or something. And I'm not that old.
So this is becoming Steve's favorite genre, Marianne books.
I know, Steve. I'm really proud of you. I am. And Valerie didn't have so much trouble sleeping as you have. But
I think there's a
that is
difference
my
there.
favorite cover so far. I mean, it is great.
Marianne, I think there's a difference here with Valerie. Valerie has a clear conscience when she goes to sleep. So she's able to go to sleep after reading your books. Now, I can't speak to Steve about that, but you know, what do you say?
Hey, my wife used to be a probation officer, and she would come home with stories that would chill. Marianne, she'd come home with stories that would chill you.
My husband was a corrections officer, and he came home with how he was treated was pretty chilling sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, you know,
I suspect that publication consultants couldn't publish the books with the language that was used.
that's a fact. I will say, you know, my books are about the spiritual battle that I believe does go on around us invisibly. So this is not horror for horror's sake. Steve loves to say this, but it's really not. So it is really, you cannot have demons and angels fighting and people involved without some type of horrible thing happening.
It's good to know that good wins in the end.
Well, and it does most of the time. Now, at Raven's Cove, everybody kind of wondered, I think, but still, you know, we don't want to give away the plot or the ending. You never know.
Well, I guess since we've shown the cover of James' book and Marianne's
Awesome cover.
what do we need to do? Should we go? Let's just see if we can find a hero's story here. And
Yes, of course. Apparently, Valerie, some people confused your book cover with mine.
Really?
Yes. If even is you must check that. Look at it.
Well, you do look like some kind of a hero on there, James. I can see how that could be. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God. Oh God.
Well,
I think that's too high.
What I like about the cover of James' book is that there's no question at all of what's going on inside. You take a look at it and you know exactly what it is that the book is going to be about. Marianne
Exactly.
and I, you're never really sure.
Oh, sure you
Thank you
are.
so much.
Except that somebody's going to die,
Oh my God.
which is completely different because I don't kill people. I don't know if you people told, I don't know if I told this before, as I have a friend of mine that works with my wife, and she had something called a dead Fred, which is do you have your dead Fred there, Marianne?
I do. I just love this thing. Hold on a minute. I haven't even taken it out of its package. I'm afraid somebody else steal it from my desk. My
It's a dead Fred, and it's a pen holder. And when I bought it, somebody asked me, why'd you buy two of them? I sent one to her and one to Robin. And I said, well, I've got friends who kill people. And people kind of back away like, who are you? And then I said, no, they kill them on paper, and they walked away further. So it's kind of like, okay.
And they kill them on purpose too.
Yeah.
We killed them on what?
On purpose.
Well, yeah.
Dead
How many-
Fred. I haven't heard of Dead Fred before.
I love Dead Fred. I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Put that up again. I was kind of looking the other way when that happened, and I didn't see that.
This is Dead Fred, and I get to put a pin. See the place to put the pin? Yeah. You get to put a pin right through its heart. Fred's heart.
Does it have a purpose?
It's a pin holder.
You put it on your
Oh, a
desk.
pen. I
Put it
thought
on
you
your
said
desk.
PEN holder,
Yeah,
not
No,
pin holder.
no.
Yeah.
not PIN holder. I thought like it was a pin cushion.
No. Like
Okay,
a
all
pin
right.
here.
Now
We'll take a
that
Dead
makes
Fred
better
out.
sense. Yeah.
We'll demonstrate.
Show
There.
him.
There's Dead Fred with a pin.
Dead Fred in action
Or in action, as the case may
or
be.
in action.
Whoops.
Okay, well, I guess that we probably ought to give equal time to Steve Levi.
That's a
There we go.
fantastic book.
Awesome.
Awesome. That is such an awesome cover. And Steve,
Indeed.
that cover kind of rivals some of mine, so I don't know what you're doing.
But nobody's dead on my cover.
What about that little gnome?
Well, he
Yes.
never was alive to begin with.
Really?
Well, I don't know, Marianne. What did you tell me?
I don't know. I'll have to think about it overnight. Let you know.
Now, I really like the covers. I really like the covers that I get. Is because I am not a visual person.
Mm.
And so what happens is the worst thing, the worst moment in my life, the worst moment in my writing is when Evan says, okay, what do you want on the cover? You know, and my basic attitude is I have absolutely no idea. Why don't you come up with a cover and tell me what it is? Don't tell me if I like, because I can't tell you whether I like it or not. I like that, you know, but if he says, why don't you put this and this and this, I'm going, hey, fine with me, you know, because I am not visual. I'm not a visual person.
But you are visual when it comes to words, I can tell you
I'm very,
that.
yeah, I'm very, very good when it comes to
Yes.
words and coming to
Words
stories
right out
and
of
making things happen. But, you know, when it comes to, you know, just to looking at pictures and say, we should do this and put it here and move it there and put some orange there, you know, I'm completely lost.
I just
So
give them a
Steve-
paragraph, right? And then they make it magic. Magic happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the rest of
But
you?
I
When you
like-
do a cover, do you sit down and decide what you want on the cover, or do you just say, all right, we'll take what comes?
I do decide. I write something, I can only explain it in words, not in drawing or
Mhm.
put some pictures. I always write something, whether a paragraph or a page, and then I'll send it to Evan. Evan will try and put that into action and then send it back to me, and then I'll
Mhm.
approve it or, you know, change a little bit things, but I write it down in words.
Okay,
Yeah,
Well,
thanks,
you're
Jane.
better than me.
Steve, how about we wear a duct tape tuxedo on our book signing? How is that? How does that sound to you?
How is the book signing going?
No. How about you and I wear a tuxedo, a duct tape tuxedo?
You guys would look great in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we'll make
Yeah.
make a pair of us, you know. But you can't wear it in South Africa because I think it's probably too hot down there for a duct tape tuxedo.
Maybe
It is.
maybe that's what we ought to do, is have an online book signing with Steve Levi and James Qeqe, and they could be in their costume from the cover of one of their books.
Oh, I'll try that. James, you want to do that? Well, around
Yeah,
Christmas.
sure. Why not?
Around Christmas time, do you want to do kind of a funky, kind of a humorous book signing? We can get me in the duct tape tuxedo, you in your white. Marianne,
Sure.
see if we can find a scythe somewhere, and you can put it behind you. You know.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
and Valerie, what you can do is get one of those large inflatable Snoopies. You know, and we could say that this work, we want to let you know that we've got a sense of humor here at Author Mastermind.
I guess I could get a pointy hat or something, huh? Yeah.
Well, as long as it's different, that's one thing I've learned about the internet. If you keep doing the same, oh, there we go.
Oh,
There we
wow.
go, Valerie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She's always prepared.
Hey, yeah, okay, now Valerie, you got to put that up and say something so the world can see that. We can't see it until you talk.
That's
So
right.
Have Remington talk.
Hello, everybody. Valerie says, I'm the salt on her chips.
Hey, I think we've got a Christmas time book signing
It'll be fun.
international
Well, it'll be
something
different.
going there.
It will be different.
It will.
It will be
Love
fun.
it, your
Or we will
costume.
lose every fan we've ever had.
Well, if you're not laughing, it's a bad day.
I agree.
All right. Well, hey, I just want to thank each of you for being here today and having some fun with us. I just want to remind folks, of course, that it's not too late to join the lottery. Just push the button and Jen will enter you, and we'll send you a free t-shirt if you win, or a $20 gift certificate to Publication Consultants where you can get a free book. Anyway, if there's anything else that any one of you co-hosts that would like to have the last word, now's your chance. Otherwise, we can move on.
In December, you can win a duct tape tuxedo.
Jeez.
Well, you're going to give people the not the shirt off of your back, but the tuxedo off of your back.
That's right.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to that one, Steve. Okay, well, thank you again for all of you for being here. And stick around for a few minutes if you'd like after we go off the line and we can talk for a moment. But in the meantime, for those that will be on the Facebook Live or will see the recording later, we will see you a later time and next month. But in the meantime, keep in touch.